As a director, Ben Affleck is batting 1,000. Although that might be the wrong sports metaphor to use here, he is shooting 100% from the free throw line. You don't need to know sports to enjoy this film. I'm giving you my thoughts and reactions to the latest film from director Ben Affleck called Air, right after the jump. Hello, everyone. Terrence here with Hollywood Already Did It. If you haven't already, go ahead, like, share, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, ring that bell below. Anytime we have something, you will be among the first to know. The fourth film directed from Ben Affleck is here. And just to kind of give you a litany of what those are, it's The Town, Argo, and Gone Baby Gone. Went out of order, but you get the point. All amazing films. This is his fourth film, and I'm here to say that it is nothing short. It's right in that litany that you now have to start putting Ben Affleck. You should have already been doing it, but you now have to start putting Ben Affleck in that upper echelon of directors because he just makes great films. Air, by the definition, is a sports movie. It's a biographical sports drama, if you will, but with very minimal actual sports. I would say think more along the lines of Moneyball, but I think there's more baseball played in that game than there is basketball here. It's talking about the outside part of it. This is a story about the courting of Michael Jordan to the Nike brand back in the 84 when Nike was the third best shoe. At that point in time, Converse was the main shoe. Reebok didn't exist, and Adidas was starting to blow up because it was the cool shoe. You had artists like Run DMC's making entire songs about it, but Converse had the Magics, the Dr. J's, they were the brand. So Nike was just kind of this third brand that was more for running, was a track shoe, and nobody really took them serious. So this movie is about Sonny Vaccaro, played by Matt Damon, who sort of puts all his chips in the basket to court Michael Jordan. He bets on himself, and I thought that's what this movie is about. Not about sports. I think you can go into this movie and enjoy it without being a sports fan. My wife had no idea. She's aware of basketball, but she wasn't watching it back there in the 80s. She definitely didn't know. She had no viewpoint to stand on and jump into this film. And I don't think you need to. This film tells the story of a man who bets on himself and pushes all his chips in the basket, sometimes maybe to the detriment of himself and the rest of his teammate members, to get something that he just has a feeling about. And it ends up, spoiler alert, making Nike a multi-billion dollar corporation based on the brand of Michael Jordan. What I think is really important about this is while this is a story about Sonny and to an extent Michael Jordan's mom, because this is a story about how her mom was the sort of de facto agent. He has an agent, he has David Falk, but this is about his mom sort of making the business deals for them, which is important to say because we never actually see Michael Jordan, which can be so for some people might be a bit of a trick, but I think you're trying to pull the story off of Michael Jordan because he's not the important part of this. You know what's happening with him. We know him. We're telling you about the players that you don't know about. So they have Michael Jordan just as a silhouette or as an actor playing him from behind, which I didn't mind. It worked for me because I understood what the purpose of this film was. I think you have a tight script. I think you have an excellent ensemble. Matt Damon is the lead, but you have Jason Bateman, you have Marlon Wayans, you have Chris Tucker, Ben Affleck. And you have, of course, Viola Davis playing Michael Jordan's mother. All in all, a phenomenal cast that comes together to tell a really tight-knit story that honestly already is one of my favorite films of the year. I think and it's actually March has been a really good year overall. You had a lot of good franchise films, but this is the first one that's an original property that I couldn't stop smiling from ear to ear. And I think if you have no knowledge of basketball, you'll enjoy it. But I think if you do, especially of that era of the 80s where you're thinking about you hear the names of the Barkleys and the Stocktons and whatnot, you kind of just start smiling like, oh yeah, I know what happened to that person. I know what happened to that player. And I know the Sam Bowie of it all. You sort of get all of that and start chuckling to yourself where you're a little bit more inside baseball than the rest of the audience. And that's okay because that doesn't hurt or harm anybody else watching it. But it definitely adds a little bit more of a level of understanding and joy to you. So my scale of Play It Again, Sam, I didn't mind that. Once is enough, or give me a time stone so I never have to think about this film again. This is 100% a Play It Again, Sam. I really do wish this film, and I hope that they re-release it later in the year, because typically films released this early in the year don't get Oscar nomination. This should be in that Oscar race. It is a fantastic film, and I'm glad that Amazon, who was originally just going to make this a streaming film. I'm glad that they did a theatrical release for this because I think this is a movie that people of masses should see. At least, even if you see it on a marquee, it may trigger more of a I need to watch this as opposed to Amazon, where a lot of people don't have Amazon Prime. I don't know how. I feel like everybody shops on Amazon, but some people don't have it. So this gives them a little bit of more of a venue. And I think it's a movie that everybody should watch without having any type of connection to basketball. You will enjoy this film because it's a story about someone believing in themselves more than it is about sport, even though it's a sports bio. If you've seen Air, what did you guys think about it? Go ahead and leave your thoughts and comments in the comments below. If you haven't already, you can follow us on Twitter at HollywoodADI. You can hit us up on email at HollywoodAlreadyDidIt@gmail.com. We also have a podcast by the same name. There's a Google Podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, any other place podcasts. We're there. This episode that's coming out this week, we'll be talking about the Super Mario Brothers movie. So you can get my thoughts and reactions to that film there. Like always, I got my ticket. You got yours.